Today we're talking about the bandsaw. The bandsaw looks like a relatively safe machine. However, you need to take into account that a bandsaw is used in the real world by butchers. Okay, bandsaws were designed to cut through bone and flesh in a butcher yard, and your hands and fingers are bone and flesh. So keep that in mind. This machine will definitely take off a finger. You need to know what you're doing at all times. Number one, only make adjustments to the guard when the power is off. The guard is this part that surrounds the blade, and obviously you do not want to be adjusting that when the blade is running. Now, how do you adjust the guard? Well, if you look here, the guard should never be more than 1/8 of an inch above the workpiece. The workpiece is right here. And basically what you do, you set the guard on there, raise it up about 1/8 of an inch, and tighten it into place. Alright? The reason 1/8 of an inch is so if you do actually get your finger in here, hopefully you'll hit these wheels before you make it all the way through, make it through your finger. Alright? Number three, always use the miter gauge when making cross cuts. This is the miter gauge, and it is used for cross-cutting a board or cutting across the grain. I will demonstrate that in a little while. Number four, keep your thumb out of the line of the blade. Make sure you always know where your hands are. Number five, fingers should never be closer than 4 inches from the blade. 4 inches is pretty much the number that we use on all machines. You always want to stay about 4 inches away from the cutting surface. Number six, the guard should never be more than 1/8 of an inch above the workpiece. That's the same as number two. On the test, I have corrected that, and if the blade breaks, okay, there's a chance that this band of blade can break, it can snap apart, so it's no longer a band. If that happens, it'll make a popping noise. You'll know it. Just simply hit the stop button and get out of the way. Alright? Number seven, never back out of a cut when the blade is moving. The bandsaw is designed to accept a forward pushing force. However, it is not designed to have a pulling force. If you pull back out of a cut, there's a chance that you're going to pull that blade off of the wheels. There's a wheel up on top, there's a wheel down below. Kind of like on your bike, the bike chain is on 2 sprockets or 2 wheels, and if that chain falls off, you're in bad shape. Well, same thing here. If the belt falls off, we're in bad shape. Number eight, never remove scrap when the blade is moving. Never a good idea to get your hand in here when the blade is moving. If you really want to get rid of that scrap, shut off the machine, wait for the blade to stop, and then you can get rid of the scrap. Number nine, the bandsaw can be used to make straight cuts and curved cuts. Alright? This machine is used for straight cutting, either cross-cutting or ripping. The other saw, which is the orange one in the corner, is used for cutting curves. Alright, and number 9, 10, relief cuts.
Kyle Somerville, if you're in the building, please come to the office. Kyle Somerville, please come to the office. Thank you.
Relief cuts are used to relieve stress on the blade when cutting arcs. If we had a curve to cut out of here, what we would do is cut in some relief cuts, which are short little cuts, which again I will demonstrate, and that allows you to make those curved cuts. And number 10, relief cuts are used to relieve stress. I just said that one. Alright, on this saw I'm just going to demonstrate the cross-cutting and ripping. I will demonstrate the relief cuts and cutting of curves on the scroll saw at a later date. Alright, in order to cross-cut a board, the first thing you do is set up the guard. Remember that guard is 1/8 of an inch above the workpiece, and you only do that when the blade is not running. Once you have the guard set up, put the miter gauge into the table saw, into the bandsaw. You can hold your board nice and tight. Start the machine. Holding it very tight, I can push it through the blade. If done correctly, I should 90-degree cut, or a cut that is 90 degrees to the edge by using the miter gauge. Okay? That is used for cross-cutting the board. If I choose to rip a board, what I can do is use the fence. And the fence adjusts to whatever width that you want. Remember, ripping is when you cut a board to the correct width. And at this point, I would set it up. There is a ruler on this bar that you can look at. I would also use a steel ruler and measure the distance between the fence and the blade. Okay? At that point, you can turn it down and lock it in place. And again, now we're going to rip this board, making it a different width. Know where your hands are at all times. And as you can see, you can change the width of the board by ripping using the fence. Okay?